In this lecture, we are going to enable the default palette for the site title block. Previously, we disabled the default color palette on a global level. This action carries large implications. Disabling the default palette will be reflected on a global level. If blocks have support for picking colors, the default selection will be removed. For example, in our template, we have the site title block. Let's view the settings for this block. If you were to click on the block, the settings might not appear. This is because the Global Styles sidebar is opened. You can switch to viewing a block's settings by clicking on the cog icon at the top right corner. Under the settings, there will be a panel called Colors. If we were to view any of the colors, the default palette has been removed from the block. In some cases, you may not want to apply settings to all blocks. Alternatively, you can apply settings to specific blocks. For example, let's try enabling the default palette for the site title block. In your editor, open the theme.json file. Inside the settings object, add a property called blocks. This property's value will be an object. According to the description, we can apply settings to specific blocks. We're not forced to apply settings on a global level. WordPress allows us to be more precise with our configuration. Inside this object, we need to provide the block's name registered with the editor. The question is, how do we get the name? Let's head over to the developer resource to find this information. On the home page, we are presented with links to different resources. Resources related to the block editor can be found under the block editor link. Let's click on it. The block editor handbook will provide information related to the Gutenberg editor. This includes information on the core blocks of WordPress. On the sidebar, there's a menu called References. If we view these links, there's a link for viewing the list of core blocks. Before clicking this link, I want to point out the theme.json link. If you ever lose the link for modifying this file, you can find it here. Alright, let's view the core blocks reference link. If you're unable to find this link, check out the resource section of this lecture. I provide a direct link to this page. On this page, let's search for the site title block. Under each block, WordPress will provide a description, name, category, list of supported features, and attributes. At the moment, the most important piece of information is the name. Everything else will be revisited in a future lecture. Copy the name to your clipboard. Next, head on over to your editor. Inside the blocks object, we will paste the name as a property name. The value for the block will be an object. After adding the block name, we can modify the block's settings the same way we would on a global level. Therefore, we copy and paste the color object. The main goal was to add the default palette to the site title block. Let's toggle the value to true. Time to test our code. In your browser, try viewing the colors for the site title block. Awesome! The default color palette appears for the block. WordPress gives us a lot of flexibility with configuring the site editor. There's one key point I want to mention. If a block does not support a feature, enabling it will not do anything. The block has to have support for a feature for it to be enabled. Let's continue our discussion in the next lecture.